All right, well, a late good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, joining you here in a race in progress. Unfortunately, the race I was just broadcasting went a little bit long, but we are here nonetheless, ready to get it going. Underway already, about 6 laps into the Dega Pros Little Guys Series Monday night event. We'll get into the gist of this as we run tonight's race. But basically, the gist is there is a list of ineligible drivers. This is a lot of the guys may not cash a lot in money races, may not earn a lot of the same money. You'll see some of the quote, big guys get in these kinds of races, but nonetheless, John Ward creating an outlet for some of these guys that may not get the recognition as the big teams, same recognition as the big teams, that is, a chance to go and get it. And so far tonight, a solid about 23 truck field as we get ready to put 20 laps to go on the board here. Kenny Stamper leading the way along the bottom of the racetrack most of the way back 2 by 2. Again, apologize for coming to you a little bit late tonight. Got a race go a little bit late. But regardless, we are here nonetheless and here to pick up some of the action as Stamper blocks the 0-5. And while I have a moment, I do have a guest with me in the booth this evening, and that is none other than one of the big guys that's on the ineligible drivers list. He's decided to jump up here and watch some racing with me tonight, and that is Mr. Cody Nagels of MBG Motorsports. Cody, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Dawson. I appreciate you for allowing me to be able to call this race for you. The previous race might have carried a little bit too long, so again, I apologize for not being able to help bring the action from the first lap, but we're here now, and I'm looking forward to a good race. And so far, up front, it looks like KSR is making a very strong presence. You got the 30th Kenneth Stamper with his teammate Thomas Parker now leading the bottom.
Yeah, no surprises there. KSR going to be a force to be reckoned with. Same with Josh McCullough running second on the outside line. Ron Morris is in this race. Trevor Osbernoth is in this race. You're going to recognize a lot of the names if you have tuned into PGR before. Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder as well. Obviously, that's Ron Morris Jr. that runs that series, running third on the outside line right now. Michael Triscaro as well is in this field tonight. He actually finished top 3 last week, so he's advanced to the big race coming up at the end of this 5-race mini-season that John Ward has elected to have as a Little Guys Series so far. And some payouts going out tonight as well. A pretty good field, so it should be close to a full payout, $50 to the race winner, and it scales down from there to third. But with 19 laps to go on the board, this is a sprint race. It's a lot like PGR. It's a lot like Jimmy Crow's race that you saw last night if you tuned in with me over on Ghost Racing Network. And it's the same gist here, except you don't have those big teams that are able to just run up front, control the deal. It's a lot more wide open. And, oh, trouble in the back. Dustin Carruthers, I think, was the one I saw getting around. We're going to go into the yellow flag as he goes for a slide across the racetrack. Some others involved, Blake Hutchinson perhaps. And we go to the yellow flag. And, yeah, Cody, what did you see right there?
Looked like Brock Westmoreland and Dustin Carruthers just got into each other. I'm going to go ahead and back this up real quick while we have a minute, but that was just at first glance what I seen.
And we will take a look at it with you here. Dustin Carruthers, yeah, looks like maybe a bad block. Maybe I should go back a little bit further. This caught about the tail end of it. It's a stack up in the middle line, looks like to me. We'll see if I'm right in my analysis. Looks like Michael Triscaro, Blake Hutchinson got caught in a stack up in the middle. Oh, yeah, Bradley Stefane actually had to dive out of line to try to miss this stack. I'm not sure what happened in the middle. Some contact between Hutchinson, Carruthers, and Triscaro is going to send the 25 sideways. Carruthers ends up with the worst of this in the 10 machine as he bounces off the outside wall and off the 16 of Brock Westmoreland. And they bounce off the outside wall pretty substantially, so some trucks going for a slide. Looks like everybody else going to make it out mostly unscathed. But Carruthers, some damage on that truck.
It looked like the 89 was just trying to avoid running over the 73, causes a little bit of a stack up behind with the 761, the 10, the 16, 25, 34. So it just accordion straight backward, and unfortunately, it's just a tough break for Dustin Carruthers.
Yeah, tough break indeed. This is not a long race, and if I read it correctly, and I will have to go back and double check, obviously a little bit caught up in trying to get on the air to you here tonight, but as far as I know, I don't think they have fast repairs, so that could be pretty brutal for Dustin Carruthers. Can repair a lot on the truck. We saw it in Jimmy's race. If you tuned in last night, if you tuned into PGR on Thursday night, you can repair a lot of damage and still be competitive, but with 0 fast repairs, obviously not much of a mulligan to give in this race. So we'll see if those guys can get back into it. While we're at it, I'm going to go through some of these guys that are in the field while we have a break, since we didn't get a chance to give them the proper recognition at the top of the stream here tonight, so we'll give them the recognition they deserve. Thomas Parker of KSR, he runs third on the racetrack. Heath Job is here as well, the 760. Sean Corbett, Kenneth Gallman, Ryan Baste all in the field. Michael Menchaca is up here. Bradley Stefane, we already mentioned a little bit. Mark Vondell is out here, an RMR winner from a couple of weeks ago. So starting to get to be one of those big guys, but not yet, as he is in the field tonight. William Fox, Danny Barnes, we already mentioned Michael Triscaro and Dustin Carruthers. Devin Ray is here, and I know he's in the stream chat as well. Devin, what's up? Good to have you out here. Good to get to talk to you a little bit earlier as well. Richard Elliott of JBRE Racing is here as well in the 02. I think he's actually listed as the 18 in this session, but probably the same 02 paint we're used to seeing in PGR. Logan York is back. It's been a while since I saw his name, and he is in the field tonight. Michael Aminti, a little further back. That's a name I haven't seen. And then obviously we talked a little bit about Blake Hutchinson and Brock Westmoreland. This is a really great field of drivers. 23 drivers for what is tabbed as a little guys race. And this is quite a few of them right here that you'll see. And then we got to talk about a little bit on Thursday. So, Cody, obviously you guys can't be on track, you and your teammates and several other of the bigger names. So, you know, what's it like for you guys to be sitting for you up in the booth and to be watching these other guys get a chance to go out on track and make a name for themselves?
I think in a lot of cases you have drivers like Mark Vondell, a very well-respected member of the money racing community. Obviously, he gets the win recently at RMR, and you have other drivers as well that maybe they just haven't had an opportunity to show what they have and what they can do on the track, and this provides those drivers a platform to not only duke it out amongst themselves, but show the quote-unquote big drivers, if you will, or the more established drivers that, hey, if given the right opportunity, you know, I can be a valuable asset on any team. Moving forward, there's going to be a lot of races, I think, that the lesser known or newer drivers will be able to show what they have. Obviously, with this little guys series that John Ward has going on, I know PGR is having a draft event. So as one of the captains for that event, I'm going to be specifically trying to keep an eye on everyone in this race to see who can push, who can take a push, and potentially with my first round pick, I may be picking one of these guys. So I'm doing a little bit of scouting myself with this race.
Yeah, and a good hint at what's coming up in PGR in a few weeks, near the end of the month in September. Obviously, if we get to talk to Michael Triscaro tonight, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that. Maybe we'll bring it up, but there is an interesting event happening at the end of the month where we're going to see some of the bigger guys draft new teams of drivers, a brand new team that you have to race with in a PGR-style event. So, yeah, you're right. Some scouting can be done for some guys that you're going to end up having on your team for that event. So, what a great showcase that is for that guy, for those guys in this field to really kind of put their name out there and say, hey, you want a good driver, you want a reliable driver, come pick me for the PGR draft event, and I'm going to go get you some money. I'm going to help the team win some money. And so, yeah, what a great opportunity it is for these guys tonight as we pace under the caution here on lap number 13. Get close to halfway into this event already. It's a short race, but nonetheless, these guys getting ready to go back under the green flag for the second time that we've seen tonight. Front row being Kenneth Stamper, Josh McCullough. Thomas Parker of KSR's up here as well. Ron Morris still at the front. Trevor Oswernoth still considered a little guy despite his pretty underdog PGR win several weeks back. How about a win tonight to go on top of that for Trevor? What a night it would be for him. Heath Job as well for OSM. He's got a teammate in this field in the form of Ryan Baste. So it's one of the rare sets of teammates. We have KSR. But other than that, we have OSM, and that's about all the teamwork I can see. Maybe a couple PGR drivers in here with Michael Triscaro as well, but that's what makes it different from the big races. You'll see the teams work together like NBG, like Maines, like McCullough. They're not here. Other than Josh, who's running the 05, they're really not present tonight, so it presents a whole entire different form of racing that I'm certainly going to love to get to watch the next several weeks. Back into the restart zone they come. Field led by Kenneth Stamper of KSR. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. It'll be 14 laps to go from Talladega as we get across the start-finish line and head back towards turn number 1. The outside not really connected yet. Josh McCullough waiting on the help from Ron Morris. And Heath Job, as well as the 71, a little further back of Kenneth Gallman. A new look. Camo National Guard on the 71 from what we saw in PGR. Great push from Josh McCullough there off the end of turn number 2. And onto the backstretch we go. Outside line looking to surge. Bottom line led by Thomas Parker, making a little bit of a comeback headed for turn number 3.
I'm thinking KSR is going to definitely have a tough presence in this race because, as you had mentioned, there's not a whole lot of teams in this, and even the teams that are present in this event, the numbers, it looks like to me, are no more than 3 to a team, not the large numbers that we're accustomed to with the larger money races. And right now I see 3 KSR guys up front. You got Kenneth Stamper on point right now with the race with 2 of his KSR teammates on the bottom, Thomas Parker and Trevor Osborne. So right now, still a few laps to go in the race, 13 to go I believe, but KSR is looking like they are going to have a strong presence late in this race. So right now, if I had to pick, I think the winner is going to come from that stable.
Well, it certainly would be a good pick. Like we said, one of the few sets of teammates in this field. And watch for the other few sets to come forward here in just a little bit. I'm looking back towards guys like Heath Job and Ryan Baste, maybe to make something happen for OSM. They're 4th on both lines right now. I'm looking for PGR. I know Danny Barnes is in this race. He's run with Michael Triscaro several weeks now, as well as a couple of other guys. I think PGR might have picked up Richard Elliott as well during the day today at some point. So going to be interesting to see if those guys can get hooked up. Elliott and Barnes, and they're all lined up now a little bit further back, biding their time, just as we ride around, try to log some laps, get closer to the end. Oh, great push by Josh McCullough. Making a great impression on the rest of the field, I'm sure, is Josh McCullough. He ran well in Jimmy Crow's race last night. Ooh, a little contact with Kenneth Stamper, and McCullough actually has to bail out, go to the 3rd line. He's got help coming with him, though, in the form of, I believe, Ron Morris Jr. How about that? Out of the South Carolina Gamecocks, number 76. That's going to hand the lead over to Thomas Parker as the bottom line surged big time. It's going to allow Trevor to get clear. Let's see if he takes it. I don't think he will because I think he's pushing his teammate. So going to be content to ride in line. Same with Sean Corbett. From the back, trouble. Devin Ray in the 32. And a couple of other trucks are involved, and it's another caution with just a few laps to go in this one. Ray, pretty much unscathed, just went for a slide. And Chaka, not quite as lucky. He's got some big-time front-end damage. And we're going to go back and get a look at what happened here just outside of 10 laps to go in this one.
Let me know when you have a chance to go back and review the replay. To me right now, it looks like Devin Ray may have just got a little bit loose. He went behind the number 71 of Kenneth Gallman. Looked like his truck just whipped out, got a little bit of loose on him, and then he looked like he just went low right in front of Michael Menchaca. Yeah,
we're getting a look at it right now. Live on your screen, and yeah, it looks like maybe a bad push. They got stacked up in the top line. Devin Ray tried to bail out and go to the middle. Unfortunately, not clear. Michael Menchaca got a piece of him, and unfortunately, as he flies off your screen, he's going to get the worst of this. We're going to see this right here live. Wow, whale of a hit off the inside wall. Some huge front-end damage for the driver of the 32, so certainly might be a night ender for Menchaca. Unfortunately, we'll see if he can salvage anything out of the night. But just kind of one of those push-gone-wrong deals there on the 3rd line. We see so much in these money races. You have to push so hard, maintain track position, and unfortunately for Devin Ray and Michael Menchaca, just doesn't really work out for him right there. So, out of the caution, once again, going to get 10 laps to go, I believe, when we get back to our start-finish line here. As Thomas Parker and KSR continue to dominate this race. It's been a KSR driver up front for the majority of what we've seen. As Trevor Osborne's going to be to his outside here, so they're going to have a decision to make on how they want to go about this restart, knowing that Josh McCullough and Sean Corbett are in tow behind them. You see Ron Morris, Ryan Baste, Heath Job not out of this yet. Bradley Stefane and Logan York a little further back. Good to see Logan York back in the field. It's been a few weeks since we've seen the 0-2, but decides to make a little bit of a comeback here tonight for the Little Guys Series race. Good to see the 0-2 out here, and a great run for Michael Aminti as well, running right behind him, a name I have yet to know much about. So we're going to see what plays out on this restart. A lot of guys kind of spread out through the field now. Kenneth Stamper all the way back in 12th, so no help to his teammates right here. And it's going to be a sprint to the end. Under 10 laps to go, and to see who makes the big race. And still KSR up front. I mean, it's still a good pick to pick KSR. I think I'm going to go opposite of you, though. I think I'm going to go with OSM. Ryan Baste, Heath Job. Obviously, Ryan Baste able to mix it up with some of the big boys on Thursdays. We see him up front quite a bit, willing to make a move when it comes down to it. And if he can get his teammate behind him, I think they can really roll on this restart, get to the front. And I think once he gets there, he's going to be hard to beat. And it would be a huge momentum swing for them if they can get this win tonight, start the week off right, headed towards the races on Tuesday and Thursday night.
And I know going back to that wreck, the back of the field was trying to generate 3 wide and make a little bit of a push to try to put up a little bit of a fight toward the KSR drivers. But in my opinion, it can be pretty difficult if you're trying to generate a run without drivers that's sitting in your Discord. And I know we talked about there's probably very few teams, if any, besides KSR that's running 3 or more drivers. If you're trying to push a driver that's not in Discord with you to where you can talk with them privately about the run that you're going to generate or where the checkups are at, a lot of time that checkup will happen before you even have an opportunity to know that it's happening in front of you. And by the time that you have an opportunity to check up, boom, the wreck happens. So it's a luxury a lot of times to be able to push a driver that's sitting in your Discord. It is a completely different animal when you become the pusher of a driver that is not sitting in your Discord. Because if something happens where there's a weird checkup like you had just seen, then it is very, very difficult oftentimes to not cause a wreck, because the checkup oftentimes it's too late.
Yep, all a product of this new truck package that we got several weeks back. It does make the racing so much more intense. And if you were with me over on Jimmy Crow's race last night, or PGR last Thursday, or on our race at Old Daytona 2008 in OP Racing on Turn 3 Racing Network just a few minutes ago, you saw that. I mean, you saw a lot of, what you were just talking about, the checkup is too late, and the way you have to push in these trucks, and I talked about this during the OP race because we saw this a couple of times, just doesn't allow you the same reaction time you used to have, where if you're on the back of somebody pushing them and they move out of line or they have to check up, all of a sudden you're driving through them and you don't even know what's happening until after it has already happened. It has just radically changed the way we super speedway race, and we've seen it time and time and time again. And I'm sure we will see it a few more times in this race as guys get more and more desperate. Top 3, I believe, make it to the big race at the end of this little guy's mini season. So a lot on the line, payouts on the line, but at the same time, you want to lock your way into that big race. And perhaps a little bit later on, I'll let you know, other than Michael Triscaro, who is locked into that race, I will have to go back and find that from last week's race that we did not get to see, but I will get that information for you, and I will let you guys know before we go off the air tonight who all is going to be locked in. It's going to be at least 3 drivers after tonight, could be up to 6, depending on who gets it done here on this late restart, which is going to be with about 9 laps to go, at least according to my, well, maybe a little less than that. It's 8 laps to go, as I'm losing count. But regardless, it's going to be Thomas Parker again out front of this field. Trevor Osbornoth as well on the outside. It's all KSR row 1. And so they're going to try to control the field right here. I don't think these guys behind them are going to be willing to wait. It's awfully late. And if the other money races we've seen the past 7 days or so are any indication, certainly we're not going to have any waiting here. Here we go. Thomas Parker into the restart zone. It's going to be 8 laps to go from Talladega. The 51 is on the loud pedal. We're back green flag racing once again. And Trevor Osbornoth gets a great start with the communication from his teammate, but unfortunately for him, his help is nowhere to be found. Sean Corbett, a fellow OSM entry of Heath Job and Ryan Baste, is going to get up to him now. I'll tell you what, though, that was a mistake by the guys around them. OSM lined up now 2, 3, 4 in the outside lane. It slipped my mind that Sean Corbett is an OSM driver tonight. He is with Job and Baste, and now they're lined up. And it's only a matter of time now before they go make it happen. Kenneth Stamper, he wants to go right now. Unfortunately, no help for him. A little further back, Richard Elliott is the first truck I see up against the outside wall. Logan York goes to the outside. Kenneth Stamper goes with him. 3 wide. Here we go. Vondell makes a move. Triscaro makes a move. Now we're stacking up. And a little further back, I think we're actually 4 wide as Richard Elliott has gone to the far outside of a battle with Mark Vondell with the help of the 49 of Michaela Steffes. Richard Elliott pressing the issue with 7 laps to go. Meanwhile, up front, 3 wide, about 8 rows deep, make it 7 rows deep through 1 and 2. Osbornoth trying to get that high line working, but Heath Job rim riding on the top with the help of Logan York.
And it looks like the 760 is just riding a little bit high right now. Look for the 760 if possible to try to get down the track as these laps wind down. If you're going to make any kind of a run toward the front, you're going to have to pinch that middle line. And as you see, there's a full truck length between the 760 and Trevor Osbornoff. There's no run being generated right now. The third line's moving straight back as the guys in the middle line can get themselves clear. Oh, there it is. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. The 73 moves up, so here we go. We'll see if the third line can generate any momentum to the front.
Well, I'm almost wondering if that was by design by Heat Joe. I wonder if he maybe thought the run was going to take a little longer to get there, and instead, unfortunately for them, they're going to actually still be split up, but I think it was by design, trying to get his teammates up in front of him. He got one of them in the form of Ryan Baste, and now you're right, they are running a little bit lower on the top line, getting a little bit more speed. We're going to be 3 wide for the race lead down the back straightaway, I do believe. As we come down the back straightaway, Thomas Parker up to block Osbornoff. Trouble! Osbornoff is around on the back straightaway. No caution comes out quite yet. We scramble a little further back as guys try to get out of this with no damage. Somehow everybody else keeps it straight, but Trevor Osbornoff, unfortunately, is going to get the raw end of the deal, and he spins. No caution is out, so back at the front, 4 wide, a little further back. Here comes PGR up against the wall. 4 wide, we're going to squeeze together right at the line. Trouble! Thomas Parker is around now right at the start-finish line, and that one is going to trigger a yellow flag. Wow. What a 2 laps race. We got 2 different incidents. One triggered a caution, one did not. And, whew, you could tell the intensity ramping up, and PGR had just gotten the run to the outside and just gotten some clean air to go 4 wide when the caution came out with 5 laps to go.
For a little guy race, this does not feel like a little guy race to me. We've seen just the last several laps alone, 2 instances of 4 wide. The side drafting is getting ramped up, not only from the 3rd and 4th line. Right there, you see the bottom line, Thomas Parker didn't have very much of a run. You see Thomas Parker move up the track just a little bit. Stefan tries to, it looked like to me Stefan just was trying to side draft with him. Looks like a little bit of netcode could have triggered between the 89 and the 51. Nothing malicious, just a lot of hard racing. That's just a byproduct of it. Sometimes the netcode, unfortunately, takes over when you have drivers pinching the way they are. But that's just, you get that with super speedway racing, and I don't expect any of these drivers to race any different because of it.
And we're getting another look at the first incident, which unfortunately saw Trevor Osbornoff go around. And another thing I noticed that I did not notice under live action before we go to our second incident, Josh McCullough, some kind of issue on the 05. He had a puff of smoke out of the 05 down the backstretch. I'm not sure. It's definitely not temps. So obviously some kind of money shift or other issue for Josh McCullough, but he expired the engine on the 05. He is well off the pace of the rest of the field. I'm not sure he was able to make it back to pit road, so lucky caution for him, but may not have been so lucky as he loses the engine on the 05 machine. Looking a little further up here, trying to get a look at this incident, and yeah, some side drafting going on in the middle of the field right around Sean Corbett. We'll try to get a look at what happened here in our second incident. You saw it happen live. We were 4 wide in the tri-oval. Thomas Parker gets a little help from Stefan through the tri-oval. He's going to go for a slide, a long slide. But luckily for him, it's all that happens. It triggers the caution. He locks it down, doesn't hit anything, and is going to be unscathed coming out of this. He's going to have some work to do on this late restart. So 2 different incidents in about a lap and a half, and we are under yet another caution here late in the going here in the Little Guys Series race. So we get back to live action. Going up front, it's the OSM entry of Ryan Baste, who I just talked about, who finds himself in the lead, and even better, Ryan Baste, Heath Jobe, Sean Corbett, they're going to be lined up on this restart 1, 3, and 5. So watch OSM on this restart here as we get ready to get it back going. Logan York is in the mix. All of a sudden, the 02 finds himself with a chance to win, and there's Kenneth Stamper. He was 12th about a lap and a half ago. All of a sudden, now he is 4th and very much in the running. Late in the going, he's going to have a lot of impact on this restart. Getting that outside line to move. Devin Ray a little further back in 6th. He's still in this as well. Danny Barnes, Bradley Stefan, Michael Triscaro, Dustin Carruthers, your top 10. As we get inside 5 laps to go, it's going to be an organic green-white checkered, it sure looks like to me. And so it will not be an attempt at overtime. We are going to use the natural green flag distance to try to finish this one up here under the green flag and inside our scheduled 27 laps. So here we go. We're going to get doubled up here when we get back to the start-finish line. It's going to be OSM against the guys in the top lane. So obviously OSM, a huge advantage on this restart, but they do have the bottom line to contend, the top line to contend with. The bottom line definitely not at an advantage rolling through 1 and 2, but they will have the team communication. And Cody, you know this situation well. You got your teammates behind you late. I'm sure Ryan Baste feels like he's in a pretty good spot right here.
Yeah, I'd say Ryan Baste is feeling very comfortable about where he's at, and as you alluded to earlier, OSM, very good pick late. All 3 drivers up front, I would say at this point in time that they are the favorites, or one of their drivers are the favorites to take the checkered flag. I like Ryan Baste's chance. I would look for Baste maybe to try to control the run of the middle. If the bottom gets a strong restart, he might decide to go up. If it's me, I would try to give Heath Job a little bit of temps, because I know within 2 laps, I don't know the track temp right offhand, but if the track temp is a little bit hot, you can blow within the first 2 laps. I have seen it. So he might go up, give Job just a little bit of air, and then go back down and look for Job to push him the rest of the way. He has plenty of support with Corbett behind Job, so I'd say he's going to be comfortable at the bottom, but at the same time, if I'm Baste, I'm trying to get Job just a little bit of air to make sure that he can push me to the line without blowing the motor.
That's exactly what they're going to try to do right here. OSM in a great spot, but a lot of guys looking to take it from him, starting with Logan York on the outside of row number 1. What a win it would be for him. And it's the first time I've seen him. I don't know if he's been racing the little guys' races or any of John Ward's races you'll see him do during the week, but it's certainly the first time I have seen him back in several weeks. So what a comeback to money racing it would be for the driver of the 0-2 if he can get it done, or even just finish in the top 3, advance to that big race at the end of this season. And so we'll see what the 0-2 can do. Obviously, Kenneth Stamper is going to want to have a say in this for KSR. Devin Ray as well, running in position number 6. Bradley Stefane, Dustin Carruthers, Danny Barnes, Richard Elliott, Michael Triscaro. You know Michael Triscaro's not going to go quietly. If anybody in this field's not going to go away without a fight, it's Michael Triscaro. He's pinned to the bottom, but expect him to make some noise if he gets a chance to get up. Pace car, or truck rather, is down. So the field in the hands of Ryan Baste in the 73. It'll be 2 laps to go, an organic green-white checkered to try to finish us up here in the Little Guys Series, race number 2 from Talladega. Field into the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back in the air, and we are back underway once again from Talladega. Bottom line, not a great start for Sean Corbett. Job is immediately on the back bumper of his teammate Baste, but the top line's got more support behind the second truck in line. So Logan York, expect him to roll here off of turn number 2. A little further back, they start to get a little more dicey. Bradley Stefane looks out. Devin Ray is the first to go. He goes 3 wide, but nobody goes with him. Now Stefane is with him. Carruthers chooses to stay in line. Triscaro is up in front of PGR teammate Richard Elliott. Where do they go here? Into turn number 3 potentially. Coming to the white flag right here, all Ryan Baste up front.
And look for Kenneth Stamper and Dustin Carruthers to potentially go 3. They're both clear. Look on the exit. It would not surprise me if they try to go up and hang Logan York out. I don't see Logan York in Discord with anyone, but as I say that, they're going to stay committed to the second. We're going to see how this is going to shape up. I mean, it looks to me it's going to be OSM. There it is. There it is. We have KSR going up to the third. 1 lap to go.
Yep, white flag in the air. We're going to finish it right here. 3 guys are going to make their way into the big race. Only one's going to get that big payout in victory lane. Kenneth Stamper, with the help of his KSR teammate Dustin Carruthers, as OSM looks to just hold everybody at bay. KSR down in the middle in front of Logan York. Unfortunately, it's going to stall their momentum for the time being. Can Danny Barnes get clear from 4th? You know, he's going to try to go for it. If he does, he's going to be awfully close. Let's see if he can get a nose out in front. Doesn't look like he's going to get a shot at it unless Kenneth runs a little bit wide. OSM, 1, 2, 3. You know, they're not going to pull out a line. Barnes has a window if he wants it. There he goes, Danny Barnes for PGR. Kenneth goes higher. All the way out to the wall goes Kenneth Stamper, and that's exactly what these front 3 want to see. They scramble 4 and 5 wide behind them, but it's not going to matter. Ryan Baste wins the Little Guys race number 2, and OSM goes 1, 2, and 3.
Very good run by OSM. I know you picked OSM early. Baste, Job, Corbett, they did everything possible correct in that finish that they could have done. I know that Stamper and Carruthers went 3rd. It looked like the 2nd and 3rd line was just side drafting each other, never really able to generate a run. So as long as the 3 OSM drivers were able to stay committed to the bottom, no one was going to have anything for them. All 3 stay committed. just a fantastic run by Ryan Baste. Very strong showing by OSM, and that is a lot of very, very strong momentum for either RMR or PGR, whatever that they decide to run throughout the week.
Yeah, it is, and Ryan Baste obviously going to get the biggest payout out of tonight. It's going to be about $50 for him, but more importantly, all three of those teammates are locked into that big race at the end of the season. And he's going to try, well, I think he's trying to burn it out. Maybe he's going to do a rollback. Wow, oh, well, not quite. He didn't quite get it all the way rotated around. I was going to be really impressed right there. I'm not going to lie. That's something I'm used to seeing guys like you and Steve do at the end of races, but no, Ryan Baste, some great celebration. We will try to get a word with them. I'm not able to drag them, but we'll figure something out here in just a moment to try to get a word with our winner, second place, and third place finishers, the OSM teammates. We'll let him burn it down for just a second, though. Cody went to retrieve them, I think, so we'll give him a second to try to retrieve those OSM teammates. We'll get a word with them one at a time here in just a moment. But Ryan Baste in the 73 wins race 2 of the Dega Pros Little Guys Series. While we're waiting on our top three, I'll briefly go through our finishing results really quickly for you. If I can get those working here. There we go. All right, so race results tonight. Dega Pros Little Guys race number 2. Ryan Baste is our winner tonight. Heat Job goes from second. Sean Corbett goes from position number 3. We already talked about the OSM teammates getting into that big race. Michaela Steffes, what an effort. Drove through the field on that last lap to come home fourth. Danny Barnes for PGR in 5th. Kenneth Stamper and Dustin Carruthers. And they tried all they could, but it only gets them 6th and 7th. Evan Ray goes 8th. Michael Menchaca recovers to finish 9th, even despite the front-end damage that we got to see on the number 32 machine. And Michael Triscaro for PGR will finish in 10th. Logan York will be 11th tonight with Richard Elliott in 12th. Michael Lamenti in 13th. Bradley Stefane in 14th. Kenneth Gallman rounds out your top 15. Mark Vondell finishes in 16th tonight with Thomas Parker in the 17th position and Josh McCullough in 18th. Trevor Osmernoth finishes 19th. Brock Westmoreland in 20th. Ron Morris Jr. in 21st. William Fox in 22nd. Round out your field tonight is Blake Hutchinson. Well, we've got all three of them at once. We'll go one at a time. We'll start with our third place finisher tonight, Mr. Sean Corbett. Hey, Sean, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you, man.
All right, what a run out of OSM tonight, and obviously got your teammates here as well in the booth with us. So you first, take us through your night in this race, and how'd you come home third?
Well, I had to improve from last week, doing the LCQ, not qualifying, then get in there. I was out of the points, so the boss man sent the word down, said, hey, you need to be top 10 or better, and I said, yes, sir. So I'm glad I could help my teammates, and I'm glad that we could all finish like we did, so I'm happy with it.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and we had to see you make some moves there in the middle portion of the race. You said the boss man said to be 10th or better, so, kind of take us through how you got in position, and then kind of take us through, how it felt to be lined up with your teammates on that last restart.
Well, I went into it, I wasn't going to be too aggressive. My eyes were pretty much on my mirrors and everybody to my right. I didn't want to run the outside because I wanted to get some room. I knew things they got a little squirrely here and there, but as soon as I lined up behind the OSM boys and we kept it calm, everybody calmed down. We're like, all right, let's play our game. Let's do our run. And I mainly watched out for everybody else and was driving defensive. And when Heath come in and said, hey, stay on us, I said, all right. And just stayed safe, and I'm glad I could help the boys out. So I'm glad I could contribute and do my part.
Well, and that you did, and you all are locked into the big race now. You come home third tonight. So anybody you want to thank for that effort?
Oh, OSM. I mean, the guys over there give me a chance to run with them. Trying to get my setup all straight and get my speed back, so I feel it's coming back a little bit better. And I appreciate it. Appreciate you hosting and broadcasting, and it's fun times, man. Fun times.
Well, that it is. Thanks for talking to us, and congrats on that third place finish. Cody, I'm throwing you under the bus. I'm going to let you catch up with our second place finisher, Heath Joe.
All right, Heath. Take me through your effort first and foremost. How are you guys able, from a team perspective, how are you able to hold the front there at the end, and what does this do for your team moving forward?
Well, we didn't really have like a major plan as far as keeping the front. We decided that we were going to do everything we could to stick together at that moment, with regardless of what happened. So um, it just kind of worked in our favor with the start. It kind of looked like Logan stumbled a little bit, and I got a really good push on Ryan, and that kind of helped us get clear. With having Sean right behind us, that's just increased our run. So. It just kind of all worked in our favor, and then it was all bets off from there. We were full steam ahead.
Well, absolutely, and you guys definitely put in a very strong performance. Um, so take me through. Was there any like thought on that last restart for you guys to go up to the middle line, or was it all bottom line from the word go?
We had discussed maybe moving up if we could get clear. I prefer to be up on the on the top. I think if you're going to get a better run coming off of turn four, you're going to be up on either the second or third line. When I didn't see anything really form, and it really there was the one plan, and the one plan was just to stick right to that line. If they started getting a run, Ryan knew to jump out in front of me. At that point, we've got control of both front and both the bottom and the middle line at that point. So we were pretty confident we'd be finished on a podium at that point.
And that you did. It was a very strong performance from the OSM drivers. 1, 2, 3. Very strong second place finish on your part. Is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Well, yeah, I got to thank out the boss in the inventor actually of One Stop Motorsports first, to Ron Morris and Brian Bassett, and then Brian's mind for pulling this whole thing together. I gotta thank my teammates, Ryan and Sean, Devin especially. He's been a really good force with us and has really helped turn our team. I also got to thank Jason Maines. Really long talk with him the other night, and he kind of, like Daddy Maines does, he put me in my spot. So really want to thank him a lot, as he's really a true force in my life right now. So appreciate that.
And congratulations on your second place finish. Dawson, I am going to let you interview the winner of the race, Ryan Based.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, Ryan Based in the 73. Man, I'm going to tell you what, I think this is the first time I broadcasted a race that my pick ends up winning. I picked you guys from the start, from the word go that we got on live. I said OSM's going to be the team to beat tonight, and you guys certainly got it done. First off, it's a big win for you. You're locked into the big race. You got a nice payout tonight. How do you feel?
Oh man, I feel great. This is actually my first money race win, so it feels good to be up here, and it's nice that I was able to do it with my team for this one.
Yeah, that's you definitely did, and we've already talked a little bit about the teamwork for OSM. We talked about how you guys were one of the few teams in the little guys race tonight. It just seems like there weren't many organized groups, but you guys were certainly one of them, and you definitely showed it. So, kind of tell me, what did it mean to know you had teammates and to know that you had that advantage over everyone else in the field?
Yeah, it just really gives me the confidence that, like, it's nice knowing that someone behind you is going to push you and not just leave you out hanging. And on that last lap, there was talks about going up and me taking over the middle line and letting Heath have the bottom. But I guess there was just a lot of shuffle around in that second lane. And once we had a run coming down the backstretch, I just called it out. We're staying and push as hard as we can, and it worked out.
It certainly did. It finally pays off for you, man. Time after time, I've been up in the booth. I've been on track. I've watched you make moves. I've watched you try to go get it, and it doesn't work out for you. Now it finally does. It all comes together for you. So is this the beginning of a big stretch? Obviously, what they say, once you get the first one, everything after that just kind of comes naturally. We've seen it with so many drivers here in the past several months in money racing especially. So is this the beginning of something big for you?
Yeah, man, I hope so. I just really want my name to be out there. This way, when I see these big dogs out here, they know they can push me. I can push them. I've kind of hit a wall recently trying to break through in the bigger races, and I'm hoping that this kind of steamrolls me right into that.
Well, and certainly, hopefully it does for you and your teammates over at OSM. So we'll let you go celebrate here in a second, but really quickly, anybody you want to thank for that victory?
Yeah, I mean, I got my wife upstairs watching, so thank you. Thank you for letting me race and spend so much time on this. And the boys over at OSM, we've really come together over the last month, and I'm proud of that, definitely. And then I got to give a shout out to the guys over at the Blampers for always supporting us.
All right, well, congrats on that huge win. Thanks for talking to us, and we will see you once again next week and as well in the big race, OSM.
Thanks.
Big congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So that is your top 3 on the evening from the Dega Pros Little Guys Series race number 2, a 1-2-3 effort for OSM. We already went through your finishing results just a few minutes ago. So that means, as far as my count, I think 6 guys are now locked into that big race. So the field grows double tonight in this race. Obviously, I apologize for getting to you late tonight, but regardless, what a race it was. This is going to be a fun series. These guys, like you heard them talking about, like you heard Ryan just talking about a minute ago, they're looking to make a name for themselves, and certainly several guys have done just that tonight. Some big efforts out of a lot of the guys in the field, and I don't know, as that draft event gets closer and as obviously future PGR races come and go, you got to start thinking about some of these guys as serious allies on the racetrack, Cody, and I'm sure you got a pretty good look at who you can trust going forward.
And I absolutely did. First off, with John Ward's little guy event, that's a lot of pressure being taken off the OSM drivers' shoulders. They get all 3 drivers locked into the big race, a big confidence boost moving forward for the rest of the week and the big money events moving forward. And as we had spoken about earlier, the big draft event that PGR is doing. As one of the captains of that event, I got a very good look at the OSM drivers, and I have to say I'm very impressed. I don't know who I'm going to pick with my first pick yet, but absolutely I'm going to be taking a look at all 3 drivers. OSM, very strong look tonight.
Indeed, they were. Several teams very strong. A lot of guys in the running for it, and a lot of guys going to be looking to lock their way into that big race starting again next Monday evening about the same time as tonight. I did not get a chance to mention, as we are live tonight on the brand new Hickory Racing Network. This is going to be my own little thing I do for some of the races I broadcast, along with my duties with Ghost Racing Network and Turn 3 Racing Network. If you watched OP Racing stop at Daytona just a couple of hours ago, I'm going to be doing this a little bit as well, so be keeping tuning in. If you want to hit the subscribe button, please do. I'm going to be going live quite a bit. In fact, I will let you know right now, as far as time permits, as long as I'm able to get home and get ready, Jimmy Crow's money race tomorrow evening, about 9:15 Eastern, is going to be live right back here on this channel. If you want to watch some of the big dogs join the little guys once again, come back over here and join me in the booth for the call of that one tomorrow night. We will make sure we're here. If I'm able to get home in time, it'll be here. It'll be live, and I'll be showing off some more of Jimmy Crow's amazing money racing. That's all for me tonight. For my partner, Mr. Cody Nagels, obviously appreciate him coming up here and calling it this race for me. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, and then next week once again for another edition of Dega Pro's Little Guys Series Racing. Thanks everybody for watching and coming out. Sorry for that short notice, but hopefully we'll be more on time next week.